A little bit about Webtrends. We're a web analytics company. We chew on a lot of data. We have lots of customers. I won't really get into too much about that. Within our company, we divide up our IT services kind of into 3 different groups. You have your traditional IT services, email, website, any other business apps that you're used to using. You have hosted ops, which provides customer-facing, the stuff customers pay us for, that are software as a service stuff. And then you have engineering systems, which provides research and development for any and all of our stuff that hasn't gone to market yet, or hot fixes that we're working on for customer escalations. And that's the group that I work within. Within there, almost all of our stuff these days is started to run on a VMware platform, just because there's change is so rapid, I can't keep up with provisioning physical servers fast enough. And with VMware, then I need some kind of shared central storage to use. Choices out there were block level or file level. Block level, as soon as I started looking at it, we own a little bit of fiber channel storage, and it works, but it's just complicated to manage. LUNs, mappings between new devices, new HBAs to add to stuff. It took me more time to try to figure out what I wanted to do with fiber channel, and then I saw NFS. And at first I looked at a little free open solution to fiddle with for a while, and NFS was great. Okay, but that didn't perform well enough for me, so went looking for something bigger, and that's where Isilon stepped in. And their single file system has allowed me to keep a couple of arrays that store all of my VMs in one big file system. That's a little picture of what my world looks like. Almost all of my resources are connected into one big cloud. From there, we might be running QA for the current version, the couple versions out, or maybe an older version if we're working on like escalation for a software problem. And same thing for dev. They get their own little carved out environments. Each one of those environments might be set up and torn down in as little as a day, or they might exist for months on end. All depends on what the project is, but fast flexibility is a big key for us, of being able to provision a system as fast as the user wants, and then tear it down when I'm done. Creating a new LUN for each one of my little VMs, it's going to be too time consuming. One big file system that everything can reside inside together was a much better solution for me. Some of the problems we had when looking at fiber channel, just the administration. It took too much time to try to manage. I'm a team of 2 managing close to 1,000 systems. I couldn't find a way to do all the storage provisioning that quickly. So one big file system, again, was a key that made my life so much easier. So using the Isilon stuff, I can bolt on more nodes every time I want more capacity or performance. I mean, every time I add a new node, I get, X amount of new terabytes of disk storage, X amount of new front-end network I/O, so much more cache and processing power. I didn't have to choose one big head and disks to go behind it. I just kept bolting on more nodes as capacity grew. We decided to add in another project into the cloud that I was already using. I didn't have to purchase everything up front, kind of a pay-as-you-go approach. 2 of their new things that are coming out sometime soon, Inside IQ and Smart Pools. Inside IQ allowed me to have this really in-depth analytics to how their file system is working. I could drill in all the way down to the individual client and its latencies for read and write. And a client, as far as NFS is concerned, would be that one physical VMware node that's connecting into my cluster. I see that, oh, this one's having a little bit higher latency times than something else, so one of those VMs on there is consuming too much I/O. That, time to shuffle something around a little bit. With Smart Pools in version 6, not only can I take, well, what VM is occupying too much I/O, I can then use Smart Pools rules to say, okay, that VM, all of its stuff is going to get shuffled over to a different hardware pool, such as something that runs on SAS versus everything else that's in SATA storage. Then that VM hasn't been touched in a month or 60 days. Let's shuffle that over to some nearline SATA storage instead of the SAS storage that everything runs on typically, without having to go in and move each one by one. Just assign a rule that says if it's over X amount of age and hasn't been touched, move it to a cheaper pool. Just like if it's been accessed more frequently, maybe you want to move it up to a faster pool. Move resources around as needed. Some of the other things I was experimenting with their stuff recently, their iSCSI support, which is semi-new. I don't use it for VMware stuff, but certain things need block-level storage, such as Microsoft clustering. Needed a quorum disk for a SQL server. Okay, that's a great use to use iSCSI against their array. I can point those 2 machines just for the volumes that they need they need a block level to use iSCSI directly against their array, whereas everything else runs off NFS. So I don't have to keep my fiber channel array around just for those couple SQL databases. With iSCSI and multipath I/O, you can hit every one of their nodes simultaneously. It's a pretty incredible I/O rates, assuming you do something that they can cache really easily. You get to take advantage of every one of their nodes' caching ability, rather than just a storage sans head of maybe 1 or 2 gigs worth of cache. You take advantage of their globally coherent cache across 10, 14, 20, or 100 nodes all at the same time. Created some pretty nice performance for me.